who are they really protecting? That's a question that's a question that I'm really curious about, because I, being the victim of harassment just within this building alone, from above me, below me, outside of my apartment, at my door, I don't feel protected. I feel like I'm the only one actually trying to defend me. And when I say they, I mean dispatch. People who are supposed to be there for your security. There has been at least a couple of times that I called them, or at least a few times that I've called them and I felt so disrespected, so judged for doing what they claim I'm supposed to be doing. Even when I called at the moment that the incident was happening, I felt disrespected. There was one that actually came to my door who literally made me feel so bad, and I was already emotional. So I stopped having them, or I tried to ask them not to send a constable to my house, because I just don't feel comfortable. Some of them are nice. I'm not saying some of them aren't. Some of them are pleasant, but I feel like I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be put through more stress that I'm already going through by having someone make me feel bad about the situation, even worse about the situation. In 2020, I was sick, and I was sick for a few days, at least a couple of weeks, and I couldn't get much rest. I was so tired. I've never been that tired in my life for days. And I called dispatch every night. I took down notes of the incident happening minute by minute. Sometimes it would literally happen every second. Sometimes it would happen every few minutes. Sometimes it would happen every minute. Sometimes it would go all throughout the night till 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7, sometimes even 9 o'clock in the morning. But it started off as sounding like somebody that was in pain. I thought it was an elderly person at first when I started hearing the sound. I honestly, when I first moved in here, I didn't even know I had somebody living above me, because this guy was so quiet. And I didn't even find out that it was a man above me until the super told me the first time. And then the cops, um, a constable, I believe, went to see him too. And they also confirmed that it's a man. He was making this noise. I'm going to put it at the end of this video, that sounded like somebody was in pain, like an elderly person was in pain. So being the considerate person that I am, I didn't call right away, not knowing that this guy is just harassing me. This didn't start until after, I believe, he's heard me singing. That's the only thing I can think of, because I've never seen this guy before, even the one below me. That's the only thing I can think of. I eventually saw the one. Well, of course, I saw the one that came to my door, but I haven't seen, unless he's been one of the random ones that came to my door maybe once, and maybe he's been one of those people. I don't know. I can't know that. And then I called on the 5th of this month, and the constable, or someone at the dispatch office, said to me that, so I called because I think I already made a video about that, when somebody was knocking at my door at 1:40 in the night. And I mentioned that I heard people in the hallway prior to that. And this guy was like, it's not like we can see the person's address on the camera. So clear, I know for a fact they saw who is at my door, but he didn't want to tell me. I get the feeling that they don't want to admit the person's appearance to me unless I see them. That's the impression that I get because I've experienced it before. Whenever I didn't see the person, they never told me who it was. Well, whenever I saw the person, that's when they would actually agree and actually confirm what I saw. It doesn't make sense to me. You have the power to see who is at my door. I'm not asking you to give me their address. I never asked him at any point to give me my address. I just find that to be very disrespectful. It's not like we can. He literally said this to me. It's not like we can see the person's address on the camera. I have a strong feeling it was a girl. One time I was walking in the hallway. That was, I believe it was Monday. I was walking in the hallway taking up my garbage, and she literally popped her head out. I guess she heard me walking in the hallway. That's what the other guy, the drug dealer, used to do. Sometimes he would pop out whenever he heard somebody in the hallway. So she saw me go to my door, I bet, and I guess she decided to come to my door too to harass me like everybody else. I shouldn't say like everybody else, like some of those people who have done it. But I just have the strongest feeling when I'm talking about those two people, the one above me and below me. I have a strong feeling that maybe they didn't see me outside, but they heard me singing, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. That's why they're harassing me. That's why they're stalking me. But the other ones, I feel like maybe it could have been sent by some other creep, or maybe they have seen me themselves before. I'm just trying to make sense of this. It doesn't make any sense to me. Sometimes I have some pleasant conversations with people from management, but sometimes I don't. I can't say, I would be lying if I say all of them are like that. They're not. There are some pleasant people. And I said that in one of my previous videos. I even mentioned to the one that I called earlier. I called dispatch again, telling them about last night because, of course, he was making noise last night, the one above me. And he was like, oh, you can't, we want you to call at the time that it's happening. And then when I do call them at the time that it's happening, they can always catch it because it's not, like I said, he's not doing it as constantly as he was. And they can always catch that when it's happening. And when I did offer to help them so that they would work with me so we can see what have like I tried to offer to them that like um I tried to tell them maybe we could try to work together to try to figure this thing out. That I could listen while you're up there talking to him to see if I hear the noise at any point. Of course, they didn't want to do that. Of course, they didn't want to do that. But that was when I wasn't quite sure who was making the noise. But for the longest time, I was mainly certain, but I wanted to be for sure. And then now I know for sure that it's him. There's other people making noise during the night too. There's someone beside him, and there's other people that I feel like I heard other people, more than two people last night too. There's things I want to say. There's warnings that I want to give people, but I won't say it now. Maybe in the future I will. Because they don't let you know about certain things. They don't make you aware of anything before you move into an apartment. Obviously, they're trying to make money, so why would they tell you that there's a ghost in your apartment, for example, right? Why would they tell you that there's a ghost in your apartment if they're trying to get you to rent their apartment? And it seems like these guys are not detoured by, or they're not moved by authority. Because on the 5th, I called the cops, and for the second time, a cop has approached the one below me and the one above me on the same day. I didn't see the cop, but he called me and told me that he did. So they're not detoured by management. They're not afraid of management. They're not afraid of the cops. Management have their own system. But sometimes if the person's um, depending on if the person feels like it's an emergency, they recommend that we call the cops. But I'm still wondering who's protecting who. Are they protecting the victim, or are they protecting the predator? That's something I'm really curious about, because clearly, again, like I said, these people are not afraid. Even the one from below who came to my apartment, like I said, this guy was unmoving when the cops came, and the time before when I actually went out into the hallway. I didn't even know he was still in the hallway. I went out to try to talk to a neighbor, and I realized he was still at the end of the hallway going to another woman's door. And then they're trying to use his drunkenness as an excuse. But what about the other times that I said something? They think they're smart, but they're not fooling me. I didn't say anything when he came back on the 2nd, because he was with another man. But all the other times I said something, and he was unmoving. So what's your excuse for that? What's your excuse for that? I just wish people would just make it make sense and stop protecting these fools. Stop protecting these predators, so that women could feel, or could have some kind of freedom and feel safe. Freedom to live their lives in peace. And it's even more frustrating that I'm not just dealing with these people coming to my door. I'm not just dealing with this guy upstairs as well. I'm dealing with other harassment. Again, people who have worked for this people who have worked for them a couple of occasions. I've already mentioned it in the previous video. So many things I want to say, but I think I'm going to hold off on saying certain things right now. This is not good for anybody. It's like coming out of a stressful situation. It's like running away from abuse towards abuse. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. Like I said, I had this constable literally tell me that it's not like we can find the person's address, as if I was asking for the person's address. I just wanted to know, and most likely I don't know the person, but I just wanted to know the sex of the person because I'm pretty sure it was that girl who lives on my floor. Because, like I said, the Monday when I went out to take up my garbage, she popped her head out because she heard me walking in the hallway. She smiled at me. I never smiled back, but people are strange. Men are the creepiest most of the time, but women could be just as creepy sometimes. It's hard to trust anybody, and even though, and this is this is why I'm very careful about who I defend anymore. I could lose my life trying to defend somebody. Living in this place has taught me so much, and I'm still growing. I tell people, it's something that I've been saying for the past few years. My encounter with you is going to teach me something regardless, good or bad. So it's up to you to show me who you are. Show me who you are, and I'll believe it. But you better learn, you better believe that I will learn something from my encounter with you. It's a sad world we live in. A scary, creepy, dangerous world, especially for women.